Brazil becomes second BRICS country after India not to join China's BRI. The Singles' Day shopping festival loses its shine under China's lagging economy 3 days ago. Bloomberg commented as, China unveils $1.4 trillion.
CNN comments as, Putin unlikely to come to the negotiation table, regardless of who wins U.S. election. Ukraine facing one of Russia's most powerful offensives since start of all-out war. Ukraine's commander-in-chief Syrskyi says, North Korean troops could suffer even greater losses in Ukraine than Russia, Estonian intelligence says. In the U.S., Congress House Speaker Johnson says GOP may try to repeal CHIPS Act, then walks it back. IMF study claims, working from home is powering productivity. Wall Street Journal comments as, Elon Musk's robotaxi dreams are premature.
ODNI, FBI, and CIS announces that Russian influence actors manufactured a recent video that falsely depicted individuals claiming to be from Haiti and voting illegally in multiple counties in Georgia. North Korea pledges to stand by Russia until victory in Ukraine. Moving to a cashless society is a huge security risk that could be exploited by Russia, Sweden, and Norway fear, as they backpedal on plans to go fully digital in shops.
Trump insists he has big lead over Harris, setting stage for 2024 doubts, as Trump claims. Without evidence, he's ahead. Only fraud will stop him. Boeing dismantles diversity team as pressure builds on new CEO. Time names Ukraine's online wedding service among best inventions of 2024.
Zelensky rebuffs Trump's proposal for rapid peace deal in Ukraine war. Putin says, Trump's Ukraine proposals merit attention. Turkey's Erdogan sees easy end to Ukraine war. If Trump takes solution-based approach, Trump mulls Ukraine peace plan, with British troops patrolling an 800 miles buffer zone. Putin is ready to talk to Trump, but his Ukraine demands are unchanged, Kremlin says. China says, former government worker to be executed for spying. Kenya. China hold bilateral talks in Nairobi. As Kenya requests China's support to join BRICS, Chinese group accused of hacking Singtel in telecom attacks. Kremlin says, let's see if Trump victory will help end Ukraine war. Ukraine begins shelling North Korean troops inside Russia. Kiev official says, as Ukrainian troops have engaged with North Korean units for the first time in Russia. Meta is letting the U.S. military use its Llama AI model for national security reasons. 5 days ago, it has been reported as Chinese military researchers reportedly used Meta AI to develop defense chatbot.
In the U.S., man arrested and charged with attempting to use a drone carrying an explosive device to destroy an energy facility in Nashville. In Russia, Ministry of Digital Development has proposed creating its own Linux community. 10 days ago, Linus Torvalds affirms expulsion of Russian maintainers. Lyft to pay $2.1 million civil penalty to resolve allegations of misleading drivers about their potential earnings.
Russia suspected of plotting to send incendiary devices on U.S.-bound planes. 2 weeks ago, Russia suspected of planting incendiary device on plane to the UK. South Korea and EU worry about Russia's technology transfer in return for North Korea troops. Indonesian, Russian navies hold first joint drills in Java Sea.
Putin promises Africa total support in anti-West pitch to continent. China reasserts South China Sea sovereignty amid Philippine boundary laws. As China summons Philippine ambassador over new maritime laws. Northern Gaza at imminent risk of famine who says. 1 week ago, Israel notifies UN of ending ties with UNRWA. Amid warning of famine in Gaza.
Washington Post reports as Trump talked to Putin, told Russian leader not to escalate in Ukraine. Kremlin says reports of Trump and Putin call about Ukraine are pure fiction. Fox News reports as Biden to lobby Trump not to abandon Ukraine during upcoming meeting. Reportedly, large group of Russian and North Korean forces prepared to retake Russia's Kursk region from Ukraine.
Polish Prime Minister intends to meet with French, UK, and NATO leaders to discuss the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In a recent statement, the Polish Prime Minister indicated that the United States may soon announce a ceasefire date and security guarantees for Ukraine. Additionally, a Trump ally emphasized the importance of achieving peace and stopping the killing in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia and Ukraine have been engaged in a record number of drone strikes, with Ukraine launching a significant attack on Moscow using 34 drones. marking the largest strike on the Russian capital.
Qatar agrees to kick Hamas out of Doha following U.S. request, sources say. Over 18,000 Lebanese citizens enter Iraq amid Israeli onslaught. Hamas urges Arab Islamic Summit in Saudi Arabia to assume responsibility for occupied Jerusalem.
Reportedly, Election Day bomb threats overwhelmingly targeted Democrat-leaning counties. Associated Press comments says the U.S. election was largely trouble-free, but a flood of misinformation raises future concerns. Thousands expected for People's March on Washington ahead of Trump's inauguration.
Mark Gurman comments as Apple finally finds its gaming console with the new Mac Mini. LVMH's empty Chinese megastore signals deepening luxury crash. Goodwill Reju WM partner to bolster textile recycling in North America. U.S. chip toolmakers move to cut China from supply chains. U.S. fines global foundries for shipping chips to sanction Chinese firm. Wall Street frenzy creates $11 billion debt market for AI groups buying NVIDIA chips.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sells Apple's stock and boosts cash pile to record. Grindr illegally used RTO to thwart union, forcing out half of staff, U.S. Labor Board alleges. Germany drops money laundering probe against Russian Uzbek billionaire Usmanov, lawyers say. Russian tycoon Usmanov pays €4 million to settle German criminal probe. Moldova holds presidential runoff election amid claims of Russian meddling. Sandu's rival claims support for Ukraine. Moldovan president calls him Moscow's man, as it has been reported that Moldova's pro-Russian presidential candidate defends his Romanian passport. Moldovan presidential challenger Stoyanoglu seeks measured movement to Europe, prepared to meet Putin. Frenchmen and German arrested at Russian space site in Kazakhstan. With "That's what they do," Trump's running mate Vance brushes off Russian election interference.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer moving to NBC. After 5 decades at CBS, Mark Benioff is in talks to sell media company time to Antenna Group. Takenauts to execute fifth handover on Tiangong Space Station after the docking of Shenzhou 19, demonstrating China's strength in aerospace.
Ireland secures first €3 billion Apple tax payment, boosting exchequer funds. 1 month ago, it has been announced that Apple must pay €13 billion in back taxes, as EU's top court rules. Apple reportedly faces huge fines of up to $5.8 billion, the first fine under EU digital market law. Apple warns investors future products may never be as profitable as iPhone.
The Atlantic comments as X is a white supremacist site and Musk's Twitter is the blueprint for a MAGA government. Musk tells Rogan that X won't be allowed to exist if Harris wins. Andrew Tate says he's moving back to U.S. as Trump claims election victory. European leaders congratulate Trump as Harris' comeback looks unlikely. France says Europe must take charge of own destiny, as Trump leads U.S. vote.
In the U.S., Sarah McBride becomes the first openly transgender person elected to Congress. Voters sue Musk for fraud over $1 million election sweepstakes. Man arrested at U.S. Capitol with torch, flare gun, Capitol Police say. Interpol disrupts cybercrime activity on 22,000 IP addresses, arrests 41. In the U.S., FBI warns that fake videos using its name, insignia are spreading election misinformation. Alleged snowflake hacker detained in Canada at U.S. Department of Justice's request.
South Korea fines Meta over $15 million for sharing Facebook user data with advertisers. FTC takes action against online cash advance app Dave for deceiving consumers, charging undisclosed fees that consumers can receive up to $500. Netflix under tax fraud investigation as offices in France and Netherlands raided.
Ukraine to receive $6 billion in U.S. military aid before Trump's term begins. Pentagon confirms. Putin hails courageous Trump after election win as Zelensky rejects ceasefire. Pentagon anticipates major upheaval with Trump's return to White House. Military judge overrules defense secretary and says plea deals for alleged 9/11 conspirators are valid. Federal judge strikes down Biden program offering legal status to undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. Trump's election win sends private prison stocks soaring as investors anticipate hard crackdown on migration. Trump says there's no price tag for his mass deportation plan. CNN reports as Trump allies, private sector quietly prepare for mass detention of immigrants.
Israeli soccer fans injured in attacks linked to anti-Semitism in Amsterdam. Palestinians will not be allowed to return to homes in northern Gaza, says IDF. Nearly 70% of verified Gaza war dead women and children, UN Rights Office says.
A Pakistani guard wounds 2 Chinese workers in Karachi. Reportedly, forbidden luxury enters Russia from the south. Israeli media comments as 50,000 troops fail to capture a single village in Lebanon.
Huawei is rumored to be poaching TSMC engineers, offering them triple their current salaries in an effort to jumpstart its chip-making endeavors. AstraZeneca's stock price takes a hit as China chief investigated for insurance fraud. Global chocolate confectionery studies forecasts market rise to $118 billion by 2031. Robinhood, Kraken, Paxos launch global dollar stablecoin network. BTC drops under $68,000 as Mt. Gox sends $2.2 billion Bitcoin to 2 wallets. Russia to ban Bitcoin mining in key regions due to electricity deficit. Tether's usage rise in time zones that include sanctioned nations. UBS launches its first tokenized fund on Ethereum blockchain. Crypto exchange M2 confirms $13.7 million breach. Says issue resolved within 16 minutes.
SEC issues Wells notice to Immutable, alleging IMX token violations, as Immutable says SEC is threatening to sue over sales of IMX token. Immutable pledges to fight after SEC sprayed and prayed Wells notice. Frenchman behind Trump polymarket pump has no political agenda. As reported by Wall Street Journal, UBS launches first tokenized investment fund on Ethereum. Pythagorean theorem found on clay tablet 1,000 years older than Pythagoras. Nike's secret design archive to be made visible to the public for the first time at the Vitra Design Museum. Notre Dame's iconic bells ring again, marking first chime since 2019 fire.
EU considers switching gas supply from Russia to U.S. to stave off tariff war with Trump. Donald Trump asks arch-protectionist Robert Lighthizer to run U.S. trade policy. Chinese national jailed on charges that he tried to enter Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Call of Duty franchise reaches $500 million sales, not even counting Black Ops 6. Game of Thrones movie in early development at Warner Brothers. Cliffhanger reboot gets retooled. Lily James, Pierce Brosnan to star as Sylvester Stallone exits.
FTX sues Binance, former CEO Zhao seeking $1.8 billion clawback. India's game market could grow from $3.8 billion to $9.2 billion by 2029, as foreseen by Lumakai. Discord terrorist known as Rabbit gets 30 years for preying on kids.
State has filed a lawsuit against Anthony Scaramucci and Skybridge Capital, as FTX is suing Scaramucci to recover the money invested in ostentatious investments. Additionally, the open interest in Polymarket has dropped by 64% following the U.S. presidential election. Furthermore, a report claims that WonderFi CEO was kidnapped and forced to pay a $1 million ransom.
French watchdog probes Polymarket, where trader won big on Trump bet. 2 days ago, it has been reported that Polymarket whale, who bet big on Trump win, raked in $48 million in profits. 10 days ago, it has been reported as on Polymarket, a French trader allegedly placed $45 million on the election of Donald Trump, Detroit to accept crypto for tax payments in bid to spur tech innovation, fuel economic growth. Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by a quarter point.
SEC crypto enforcement slated for major rollback under Trump. JP Morgan renames blockchain platform to Kinexes to add on-chain FX settlement for USD, Euro. Poland puts Crypto.com's operator on warning list.
New York Times editorial board urges voters to choose Harris. Palestinian-American Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib refuses to endorse Harris. 3 days before U.S. elections, Kemi Badenoch becomes first black woman to lead UK Conservatives. Liz Cheney tells George W. Bush to endorse Kamala Harris with its time. Teen Vogue comments as, Kamala Harris is not our savior, but a Donald Trump win would be catastrophic. Avengers stars assemble to endorse Kamala Harris by brainstorming an election catchphrase. The Hill comments as, in bromance, Joe Rogan and J.D. Vance yuck it up over Kamala Harris and more. Trump attacks Liz Cheney, saying she wouldn't be a war hawk if guns are trained on her face. Europe's Greens ask Jill Stein to pull out of U.S. election to prevent Trump victory. A California property manager said, he voted for Trump 6 times. He's being investigated.
Associated Post sources claim White House altered record of Biden's garbage, remarks despite stenographer concerns. Trump sues CBS News for $10 billion alleging deceptive doctoring of Harris's 60 Minutes interview. CNN comments as, election officials are outmatched by Elon Musk's misinformation machine. The Economist endorses Harris, warns Trump carries unacceptable risks. Kamala Harris says Trump's comments on women are offensive to everybody. Trump says he'll protect women, like it or not, evoking his history of misogyny. Mark Cuban says Trump is never seen with intelligent women, sparking outrage on the right. Mark Cuban issues apology over Trump women remark, with no excuses.
CNN reports as, Elon Musk's misleading election claims have been viewed more than 2 billion times on X. Analysis finds, Wall Street Journal comments as, Trump isn't perfect, but he's the better choice. Reportedly, in the U.S., nearly $1 billion has been spent on political ads over the last week.
Angered over BRICS veto, Venezuela recalls ambassador to Brazil. Ukraine slams Google for revealing location of military sites. Northern Ireland named as the UK's future Silicon Valley. U.S. Treasury sanctions 2 Swiss lawyers for aiding Russian clients. Musk lawyers say $1 million prizes weren't awarded by chance, as hearing on Philadelphia District Attorney's suit against the sweepstakes gets underway. NBC gives Donald Trump campaign time during NASCAR race, Sunday Night Football, in response to Kamala Harris's SNL appearance as NBC files equal time notice for Harris's SNL cameo following backlash. New York Post comment as, who needs an endorsement? Media has been biased for Kamala Harris from the start.
Trump's health pick RFK Jr. touts removing fluoride from water. Elon Musk's canvassing operation sued in California for alleged labor law violations. Trump says those who describe him as a friend of Russia are sick. Kamala Harris's ancestral village in India prays for her election win. Iran vows tooth-breaking response. US B-52 bombers reach Middle East. US warns Iran, we won't be able to restrain Israel if you attack. New scandal engulfs Netanyahu after close aide arrested for alleged intel leak.
Harris concedes the election, but vows to not stop fighting for a better future. Axios comment says, Democrats start clawing each other's eyes out. You people suck. Bannon vows DOJ and FBI will pay the price when Trump retakes office. RFK Jr. says entire departments at FDA have to go, and we're not going to take vaccines away from anybody. Liz Cheney says, guardrails of democracy must keep Trump in check.
Corning faces EU antitrust scrutiny over Gorilla Glass deals with phone makers. United States renews calls for Italy to scrap its web tax, sources say. Saudis plan $100 billion AI powerhouse to rival UAE tech hub. 42.3 million viewers watched presidential election night coverage. Reportedly, election night ratings for Trump's White House return fall 25% from 2020, and YouTube viewers guzzled 84 million hours of presidential election day news. Jeff Bezos, Sam Altman, Tim Cook, and other tech leaders congratulate Trump on election win. Thousands of election gamblers anticipate betting jackpot after Trump win. Musk asked Trump to name SpaceX execs to top government jobs.
Trump declares unprecedented mandate. After winning presidency for second time, Sweden scraps plans for 13 offshore wind farms over Russia security fears. Russia, China, emerging axis troubling, says Australia intelligence chief.
Axios comments as, 2 potential futures for Trump, the presidency or prison. New York Post reports as, Harris botched interview with Muslim influencer by celebrating bacon as a spice. Judge rejects request to block Elon Musk $1 million voter giveaway. Europe cannot finance Ukraine war if Trump pulls U.S. out of the conflict, Hungary's Orban warns. Venezuela's Maduro hails new beginning with U.S. after Trump victory. Nigeria Human Rights Commission clears military of alleged 10,000 illegal abortions in Northeast.
Trump sets GOP record with Latino voters, poll says. Racist text messages target young African Americans post-election. America Ferrera joins growing list of stars, moving to the UK before Trump returns as president. Business Insider comments as, Democrats wish the election was about jobs. Trump's win showed it was about prices. Axios comments as, Harris, Biden camps blame each other for loss.
China announces $1.4 trillion package over 5 years to tackle local government's hidden debt. Powell says he won't step down as Fed chair if asked by Trump. Reportedly, Robinhood attorney, Republican regulators being considered for Trump financial agency's shortlist. CNN comments as the world's 10 richest people got a record $64 billion richer from Trump's re-election. Wall Street gets M&A reboot with Trump, set to undo Con era.
Trump names Susie Wiles as first female White House chief of staff in history. Politico comments as, Florida woman takes job as White House chief of staff. Axios comments as, behind the curtain, Washington's open for business. The Philadelphia Inquirer comments as, after 248 years, America prepares for life under a king. LGBT voters, a larger share of the electorate than ever, shift away from Trump. Trump makes massive gains with Hispanics nationwide and black voters in swing states, as per exit polls. Reportedly, Harris' campaign rejected Black Caucus $10 million outreach proposal to undecided black voters. New York Times comments as, after Trump took the lead, election deniers went suddenly silent.
Washington Post comments that AI didn't sway the election but rather deepen the partisan divide. The Hill comments that deepfakes didn't disrupt the election but rather altered our perception of reality. CNN must confront Project Veritas defamation lawsuit as a U.S. appeals court rules in favor of Project Veritas. 2 years ago, Project Veritas lost its defamation lawsuit against CNN for portraying Twitter span as part of a misinformation crackdown. 3 years ago, CNN faced a lawsuit from Project Veritas regarding its comments about Twitter's suspension. Additionally, 2 individuals pleaded guilty to stealing and selling Ashley Biden's belongings to Project Veritas. Following Trump's win, Hollywood prepares for mega mergers and volatility.
Pentagon officials anxious Trump may fire the military's top general. CNN reports that Pentagon officials discussing how to respond if Trump issues controversial orders. Washington Times reports as FBI brass stunned and shell-shocked over Trump re-election. Project 2025 Chief's book urges burning of FBI. New York Times and Boy Scouts.
Democratic strategists say their warnings about having Harris campaign with Liz Cheney were ignored. Pelosi blames Harris's loss on Biden's late exit and no open Democratic primary. Mississippi Senate paid black attorney less than white ones, U.S. Justice Department says.
RFK Jr. reviewing resumes for top Trump health jobs. Sources say Trump put Musk on phone with Zelensky during call. Jared Kushner rules out joining next Trump administration.
China has increased military flights near Taiwan by 300%, U.S. general says. Biden administration to allow American military contractors to deploy to Ukraine for first time since Russia's invasion. Reportedly, Elon Musk joins Trump's call with Ukraine's Zelensky. In the U.S. Justice Department announces murder for hire and related charges against IRGC asset and 2 local operatives. Iranian asset shakery was tasked by Iranian regime with surveilling and plotting to assassinate President-elect Donald J. Trump, also to surveil and murder a U.S. citizen of Iranian origin who has publicly opposed the Iranian government.
Brazil becomes second BRICS country after India not to join China's BRI. The Singles' Day shopping festival loses its shine under China's lagging economy 3 days ago. Bloomberg commented as, China unveils $1.4 trillion debt swap, saves stimulus for Trump. Paris to deploy 4,000 police for France versus Israel match, following Amsterdam violence.
In the U.S., Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor to remain at post as some call for her to step down. New York Times comments as, unions bet big on Harris, now they're bracing for consequences. Netanyahu says he and Trump see eye to eye on Iran after holding 3 calls within days.
In the U.S., House fast-tracks bill that would give Trump power to target nonprofits. Trump declares Senate majority candidates should allow him to make recess appointments, as Trump tells GOP to bypass Senate confirmation process, block Biden judicial appointments. Ramaswamy says top priority for Trump is uniting the country.
Race. Trump officially sweeps all 7 swing states. President-elect Trump's 2024 popular vote count officially surpasses 2020 election numbers. Observer comments as Donald Trump embodies a collective madness in America.
Parents who use humor have better relationships with their children. Study finds comb jellies can transform from adult to juvenile, in aging in reverse. Parents trust AI for medical advice more than doctors, researchers find. New evidence suggests that dark energy comes from black holes. University of Hawaii astronomers announces that our cosmic neighborhood may be 10x larger, as new map of the universe shows megastructures. SpaceX wants to test refueling starships in space early next year.
Researchers are questioning if ADHD should be seen as a disorder. A study claims ADHD is best understood as a cultural construct. U.S. chemists debunk 100-years-old Brett's rule to change organic chemistry forever. Exposure to sugar rationing in the first 1,000 days of life protected against chronic disease.
GelSight and Meta AI introduce Digit 360 tactile sensor. Quantum Schrodinger's cat survives for a stunning 23 minutes, where light matter entanglement creates Schrödinger cat states. Scientists confirm monkeys do not have the time to write Shakespeare.
Scholars conclude Beowulf likely the work of single author. Carbon dating reveals the history of zero is older than previously thought. Mysterious and indecipherable 600 years old Voynich manuscript may be partly about sex and women's secrets. Studies claim rapamycin as the only drug that has been consistently demonstrated to increase mammalian longevity. Plants emit informative airborne sounds under stress. LED device treats leading cause of vision loss with light therapy, FDA says.
Origins of world's earliest writing point to symbols on seals, used in Mesopotamian trade. Earth's 6th mass extinction is underway and rapidly accelerating, study warns. SpaceX plans to send 5 uncrewed starships to Mars in 2 years, Musk says. Marmosets use specific names for one another, study finds.
Scientists create plant-animal hybrid cells that photosynthesize. Archaeologists stumble upon 900-years-old door guardian statues in Cambodia. From Mary Rose, bones from Tudor shipwreck suggest handedness may influence collarbones. Endangered bees stop Meta's plan for nuclear-powered AI data center. Peanut the squirrel touches off social media firestorm after New York officials euthanize beloved rodent. Evolution is not as random as previously thought, finds new study.
Ed Sheeran wins copyright appeal over Thinking Out Loud versus Let's Get It On. Chappell Roan debuts new song, The Giver, on SNL. Sony Music acquires recorded music catalog of Egyptian superstar Amr Diab.
Pinocchio slasher film from Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey team casts horror vets Robert Englund and Richard Brake. New Godzilla movie in the works from Godzilla -1 director Takashi Yamazaki. Tom Cruise in early talks for Days of Thunder sequel.
Idris Elba to move to Africa to bolster the film industry. Gerard Depardieu's French actor's sexual assault trial opens in Paris. U.S. actor Armie Hammer teases return to Hollywood after sexual misconduct allegations. 1 year ago, Armie Hammer avoids charges after sex assault investigation, says name has been cleared.
Climate change might be forcing Japanese sardines into the United States exclusive economic zone, as these sardines may be indicating significant changes in the ocean. Chimpanzees demonstrated improved performance on complex tasks when they were being observed. A study claims that the Triassic period concluded with a lost mass extinction and a million-year rainstorm, as a volcanic eruption triggered a rainy period that made Earth's climate suitable for dinosaurs. Cells beyond the brain demonstrate remarkable memory capabilities. Humans lacking the sense of smell exhibit distinct breathing patterns. Men and women may require diverse breakfasts for weight loss.
Ryan Reynolds says, Marvel is obsessed with Channing Tatum's Gambit after Deadpool and Wolverine. Ray Gunn retires from competitive breakdancing after Paris Olympics backlash. New Star Wars movie trilogy in the works from X-Men veteran Simon Kinberg.
Roblox is banning kids from social hangout spaces. Australia proposes world-leading ban on social media for children under 16. Canada orders shutdown of TikTok's Canadian business. App access to continue.
Heretic directors used end credits to warn Hollywood about AI, with "Let's bury it underground with nuclear warheads, 'cause it might kill us all." Heretic directors say A24 supported their anti-generative AI position. Ryan Reynolds writing a non-Marvel project to reunite with Hugh Jackman and director Sean Levy after Deadpool and Wolverine. Mozilla is eliminating its advocacy division, which fought for a free and open web. Italy puts IEA and Lufthansa deal on hold. Due to price dispute, sources say. UMG sues Believe and TuneCore for $500 million, alleging industrial-scale copyright infringement. France's Believe denies copyright allegation in $500 million claim by UMG. Warhol prints stolen and damaged in a botched heist in the Netherlands.
Quincy Jones, music titan who worked with everyone from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson, dies at 91. TikTok founder becomes China's richest man. Netflix is removing nearly all of its interactive titles.
Elon Musk wants to send 30,000 more Starlink satellites into space, and it has astronomers worried. European Union to build its own satellite internet constellation as the EU reaches agreement on new satellite constellation Iris. EU's Starlink rival, Iris 2, won't offer full service until early 2030s. Apple to invest up to $1.5 billion in Globalstar for satellite coverage expansion. NFL players push back on media interviews in their locker rooms. 1 month ago, NFLPA calls to move media interviews out of locker rooms to respect players' privacy and dignity. Apple told TikTok it's unfit for young teens. New lawsuit details allege. Cloud Forest in Ecuador could be recognized as songwriter in radical legal proposition.
For Nolan's upcoming film. Meanwhile, Ice Age 6 is in production, featuring Ray Romano and Queen Latifah's return. On the other hand, Joker 2 star Tim Dillon claims that the movie is the worst film ever made, asserting that it lacks a plot.
In Grammy nominations 2025, Beyoncé leads with 11 nods as Taylor Swift, Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and Charli XCX are among top nominees. Star Wars fans roll eyes as Disney plans another trilogy, bringing unreleased films up to 14. Crypto businessman killed in apparent assassination at Sao Paulo airport.
Kylian Mbappé left out of France squad after Didier Deschamps' snub. Sotheby's to stage first live auction in Saudi Arabia in February 2025. Historic Banksy collection from Steve Lazarides to be auctioned at Julian's. Over 200 days after its official closure, the last user of Nintendo Network's online servers finally disconnected after a 3DS system crash. Steam's built-in game recording is now available to all. Amazon launches Clinic Medical Consultation Service in India.
Amazon gets FAA approval for new delivery drone as it begins tests in Arizona. In Japan, Rakuten launches Rakuten Unmanned Delivery, a product delivery service for retailers and restaurants using automated delivery robots in the Harumi area of Tokyo. World's first wooden satellite built in Japan launched to space.
Stardew Valley updates strange bug features a wild coyote that kills chickens. Fortnite Chapter 2 remix teams up with Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and others. Apple explores push into smart glasses with Atlas. User study. M4 Max makes short work of 24 cores Intel Ultra 9 285K, outperforming it by 17% in single-core and nearly 16% in multi-core performance, as Apple's new M4 Max is the fastest CPU on the market, and we haven't even seen M4 Ultra. NVIDIA set to replace Intel in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Russia says $20 decillion fine against Google is symbolic. Apple offers iPhone 14 Plus service program for rear camera issue with devices which were manufactured between April 10, 2023 to April 28, 2024. Will provide service free of charge. One set 6,000 mAh battery launched in China. Android 16 coming Q2 2025 as Google readies more frequent SDK releases.
Bitcoin fog operator sentenced for money laundering conspiracy, as operator of notorious darknet cryptocurrency Mixer laundered $400 million in cryptocurrency since 2011. FBI says hackers are sending fraudulent police data requests to tech giants to steal people's private information. U.S. judge tosses Illinois' ban on semi-automatic weapons. Governor pledges swift appeal.
Taiwan and U.S. semiconductor cooperation unlikely to change after election, said by Taiwan Semiconductor Industry Association. As Taiwan must improve chip tech to stay ahead, Cliff Ho says, TSMC cannot make 2 nanometers chips abroad now, says Minister of Economic Affairs J.W. Kwa. Baidu readies AI smart glasses to rival Meta's Ray-Bans. NVIDIA to cap game streaming hours on GeForce Now instead of raising fees. Google asked to remove 10 billion pirate search results. Cops suspect iOS 18 iPhones are communicating to force reboots, making unlocking harder.
Michael Novogratz Galaxy looks to AI computing as Bitcoin mining revenue falls. AMD's desktop CPU share soars 10 percentage points in a year. Intel slapped with class action lawsuit for Raptor Lake CPU instability issues. Chipmaker accused of consciously selling defective chips. TSMC to close door on producing advanced AI chips for China from Monday, November 11, 2024. U.S. Consumer Protection Agency bans employee mobile calls amid Chinese hack fears. Hackers demand Francis Schneider Electric pay a $125,000 ransom in baguettes. Hacker says they banned thousands of Call of Duty gamers by abusing anti-cheat flaw. 20 days ago, it has been reported as Call of Duty anti-cheat bug. Let hackers ban people with a direct message.
Meta says it's making its Llama models available for U.S. national security applications. Instagram plans to use AI to catch teens lying about age. MIT debuts a large language model-inspired method for teaching robots new skills.
NVIDIA set to replace Intel in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Google's Big Sleep AI project uncovers real software vulnerabilities. Reuters reports that Walt Disney forms business unit to coordinate use of AI and augmented reality.
16 and 16 Pro parts for DIY repairs, while Apple Vision Pro 2 is expected to launch between fall 2025 and spring 2026. Mark Gurman suggests that Apple's future hinges on smaller bets rather than the next big thing. In other news, Intel promises fixes for Arrow Lake that will lead to significant performance gains. Additionally, Najima is set to acquire Veo for 11.2 billion yen.
Reuters reports that the U.S. has ordered TSMC to halt shipments of chips used in AI applications to China. 2 days ago, it was reported that TSMC would close its doors on producing advanced AI chips for China within a week. Taiwan's chip output is expected to reach a record high of $165 billion due to the high demand for AI chips. Taiwan's environment minister has committed to achieving net zero emissions despite the opposition of Trump. Tragically, at least one person has lost their life in Taiwan as Super Typhoon Kong-ray makes landfall.
Google Vid's AI-powered video creation tool rolling out to select workspace users. Amazon targets delivery operations in bid for bigger grocery business. Speculates as iPhone 18 Pro to feature upgraded main camera with variable aperture. Tencent and Visa roll out Palm payment trial in Singapore.
News organizations are forced to accept Google AI crawlers, says Financial Times policy chief. JP Morgan reportedly unveils Index GPT AI tool. Microsoft adds new AI tool in Notepad to rewrite and refine your text with ease.
OpenAI acquired Chat.com. AI chatbot launches on gov.uk to help business users, with mixed results. New York Times demands OpenAI admit which articles it used in AI training.
Qualcomm. ARM results show phone industry making uneven comeback. TSMC and GlobalFoundries finish talks over CHIPS Act awards. GlobalWafers expects CHIPS Act to continue in Trump administration. CNBC reports that Trump likely to uphold CHIPS Act despite his campaign rhetoric, experts say. AI's huge power needs give oil majors in AI workers seek whistleblower cover to expose emerging threats. AMD overtakes Intel in quarterly data center revenue for the first time, EPYC CPUs and Instinct AI accelerators showing their dominance.
Amazon's Prime Video launches AI-generated TV show recaps, promises they're spoiler-free. Perplexity CEO offers AI companies services to replace striking NYT staff. One day ago, New York Times tech workers go on strike on eve of 2024 election, alleging unfair labor practices. 1 in 20 new Wikipedia pages seem to be written with the help of AI. Analysis of 50,000 peer-reviewed computer science papers reveals that 7 to 17% were AI-generated. An AI robot's portrait of Alan Turing, which challenges what it is to be human, set a record and sold for $1.08 million. A study suggests that despite its impressive output, generative AI lacks a coherent understanding of the world.
AI groups are rapidly redesigning model testing and creating new benchmarks as the pace of GPT AI improvement slows down. Notably, OpenAI is adjusting its strategy. Additionally, Chegg is reportedly facing significant challenges, with its stock plummeting by 99% following the launch of ChatGPT. Furthermore, the AI revolution is transforming data centers into the new building boom in America.
ChatGPT told 2M people to get their election news elsewhere and rejected 250K deepfakes. Bloomberg comments as, Trump's cyber policy likely to focus on China, relaxing regulation. TikTok awaits lifeline from President-elect Trump, who once favored ban.
OpenAI's data scraping wins big, as raw story copyright lawsuit dismissed by New York court. Anthropic and Palantir partner to bring Claude AI models to AWS for U.S. government intelligence and defense operations. Reportedly, Amazon discussing new multi-billion-dollar investment in Anthropic. AI may displace 3M jobs, but long-term losses relatively modest, says Tony Blair's think tank.
Microsoft introduces AI-powered features to Windows 11 Paint and Notepad. Mistral AI takes on OpenAI with new moderation API, tackling harmful content in 11 languages. The Washington Post launches Ask the Post AI, a new search experience.
1 in 5 Australians admit they don't wash their hands every time they use the toilet. Drunk animals far more common than previously thought, scientists say. Taliban bans women from hearing other women's voices.
Boosting exercise intensity reduces mortality risk, study suggests. Morning coffee could be quietly causing hearing loss, study reveals. Jobs with work-from-home options have better stock returns, new study reveals.
MIT develops tiny devices to monitor and heal individual cells, restoring lost brain functions. Superbacteria's double defense against antibiotics is discovered. Mysterious circular DNA found in more than half of patients with certain types of cancer.
New water bear. Tardigrade species can endure radiation levels 1,000 times higher than humans. UK confirms 2 cases of new monkeypox strain in Europe's first household transmissions. WHO reports that tuberculosis resurges as top infectious disease killer.
Russia's torture of Ukrainian civilians. Prisoners is a crime against humanity. UN expert panel says. More than 100 BBC staff accuse broadcaster of Israel bias in Gaza coverage. Displacement in Sudan crosses 11 million, as devastating crisis reaches new heights, announces IOM chief.
In Wicked Dolls, Mattel apologizes for packaging that mistakenly linked to an adult pornographic website. A scientist successfully treated her own cancer using viruses she had grown in her laboratory. Intel is attempting to boost employee morale by reinstating free coffee for its workers. Pope Francis inadvertently displays his support for the New Orleans Saints. Crows are known to hold grudges against individual humans for an astonishing 17 years. A remarkable skeleton, crafted from the bones of 5 individuals spanning a period of 2,500 years, was discovered in Belgium.
Bloomberg comments as, Trump plans to dismantle Biden's climate law. It won't be easy. In the U.S., former energy regulator says he offered Trump team plan to cut his old agency. Bloomberg reports that Biden rushing study that threatens to slow Trump's LNG plans. Astronomers call for pause on SpaceX Starlink launches.
With We Have a New Star, Elon Musk takes center stage during Donald Trump's victory speech. James Webb Telescope spots feasting black hole eating 40 times faster than should be.